Then welcome everybody. Then today I'm going to present the lecture about how to improve your self-healing abilities. Then the first question that I would like to ask you is self-healing possible? Then a lot of the people that just met me, they don't know the work, they never practiced that before. I get a lot of that question on the first session. Hey, Anna, hold on a second. Is that even possible? Can we really self-heal? Can we really improve our body that we can heal faster and easier? And when you think about healing in general, healing is the process of making or becoming healthy again. That's simple, right? If we think about healing from a cold, you probably had a flu before, you got a cold before, you probably heal from there, you survive, your body got stronger, and that was not a problem. Then when you think about healing from a cold, it's not something that's like, yeah, that's possible, that's not too hard. When you think about cutting a finger, like you're cutting vegetables or you're in the garden, something happened, and you cut your finger, did your finger heal? Then makes me curious why, when we think about experience we had before that was successful, we know for sure, yes, my body can heal that. But when we have something that's chronic, when we have something that's been there, like lingering and challenging us, we question, is that possible? And just something for you to reflect on it. And when we think about self-healing refers to the process of recovering motivated by and directed by the patient. That's really the biggest difference between healing, we know that we heal, versus self-healing, where, for example, if you're having a cold and you take honey or you took some like lemon water, you know that those things may help you to heal the cold faster. Then there's something that you may decide to do it to heal yourself faster, and you know it worked, then you can do it again. But it was directed by your past experience or something that you know about it, or some information that your body gave it to you. The most important piece for self-healing is tailored to the unique experience and requirements of each individual. Then when we think about healthcare system, how unique individual or have we been treated? And just something to reflect on it. Then what if we could have more unique individual treatments for our specific needs? And that's really what I love about the self-healing idea, is because each one of you needs something different. And the process can be helped and accelerated with specific techniques. There are so many techniques that can help us to heal faster and easier. Then just to introduce myself, for if you don't know me by now, I am Ana Marino. I am a self-healing specialist and physical therapist for over 13 years. I have empowered people to heal from chronic pain, take charge of their health, and get their life back. And after healing holistically from cancer, I committed my life to building a self-healing movement. And I noticed how important it is, the need for us to have that unique treatment. I'm also a best-selling author, an international speaker, and a host of Be Health with Anna podcast. I have been featured on NBC, the Teaspoon of Healing podcast, and the annual North Carolina Lupus Summit, and many other places. Then the question goes back, how to improve your self-healing abilities? Then in my practice, what I notice is we kind of have 4 pillars for self-healing. The first pillar, it goes back to actually the techniques of heal ourselves. Like, what can we do, the tools we have to heal ourselves. And you probably, if you think about it, I'm sure you have plenty of information that When something happened, either it was a migraine or you got a cold, you're like, oh yeah, I know what to do for that. I know how to help myself. And there are many others that we teach in my membership and my private clients that it helps you to learn more about what your needs are. Some of the important piece also is the access of your body intelligence. We're going to talk more about that today, but that's really where the unique of you, what does your body need versus the other millions of people, versus everybody else that have your same symptom. What is your specific need? And your body can tell you that. Your body has the wisdom, the intelligence that we can tap into it to get those answers. The other pillar that's really important is master your nervous system. We're going to talk more about that later as well. But the nervous system is extremely important for regulating everything. And healing is actually part of the nervous system abilities. And the fourth pillar that is extremely important is called the release of trauma from the body. And that is a somewhat probably new topic for some of you. And when I say release of trauma, I am not necessarily talking about a very strong trauma when we think about sense of trauma as psychology. I'm talking about more, it can be as simple as you walking around, you hit your knee on the edge of the bed, and now every time when you're going around the bed, your body freezes. Your body get hesitation. That is a trauma in the body. It can be something as simple as that, or all the way to actually being abused or had a severe chronic problem or being mistreated by your doctor. That's a very common trauma in the body that I hear from a lot of my patients. Very unfortunately, but very common. And those are the four pillars. Then how we start working on that? Because that's a mouthful of things to do it. I like to simplify things for you guys to starting to take your healing today forward. I call that the 5 stages or the wellness path. And in my 13 years of experience, I noticed that it's not necessarily a linear path, but there is somewhat of a sequence through the healing journey from all the patients that have been seen throughout those years. And when we talk about the first stage, it's the stage of discovery. Then as you're sitting here and you're listening to me, I want for you to tell me, when you think about your health, have you ever created a goal before that didn't work, that you got frustrated about? When we think about those goals, a lot of times I hear a lot of frustration from my patients. And the frustration comes from most of the time either creating goals that are unrealistic or creating goals that are not aligned with your intuition, what your body really needs. Have you guys ever thought about the possibility that when you're creating a goal, you may be creating a goal from a place of I should do that versus I want to do that because my heart is craving that and that's gonna feel so good. And it's the idea of really going into our heart. What does your heart desire? And when I talk about discovery, when I talk about really going deeper into healing, not just everyday life, but healing, it's going to the bigger picture. It's going to the vision. What do you really want in your life? And then when you create that, then you can go deeper and say, okay, but why is that important? And then you create the goals. Then the goal is actually a consequence, not the first step. And when we do things that way, your chance to actually reach your goals are much higher. Identify and release what's stopping you is actually stage 2. And that's when you start to identify kind of where you are, what stage are you on healing? Like, are you on the stage of like, you know what? I don't even know where I want to go. I cannot even visualize myself. I don't even know what the steps to get there. Then you already found yourself, your stage 1. If you feel like, okay, you know what? I done that before. That's easy for me. No problem. But I can create the goals, but I get triggered by. I create the goals and I don't accomplish. Then you may be closer to the awareness phase, where you can starting to identify more of the mindset, the mindfulness, and really start to overcome inner blocks. That's the phase that you start to change the perception, changing how you see things. Then that's the phase that we start shifting from looking at problems to actually looking at solutions. And one thing that I wanted to do a side note here, because there is a lot of people out there with the whole idea of positive mindset. And I want to make a parenthesis on that. My positive mindset is not everything. And if you have tried positive mindset and it didn't work for you, you're not alone. Because in reality, there is so much more than just positive mindset. When we try to trick our body to say something that we don't believe in, we can actually create more trauma. Then another conversation for another day, but just something for you to start noticing. If you keep telling yourself, for example, I don't feel this, I don't feel this, I don't feel this. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling good. But in reality, you are not. You are feeling, some discomfort, or you're in a place where you're not really feeling like the best that you can be. What you're doing is you're actually creating conflict in your nervous system. And a lot of times I see patients, they have practiced positive mindset for so long that they end up almost lying to themselves that their life is amazing, but I don't want to complain about everything feels so good. But when we start going deeper, they're quite unhappy. They're just pretending to themselves. There's just something for you to explore, because that's a whole nother session for another day. But we needed to start to be, yes, positive mindset is very important, but it's also important to validate our feelings. It's also important to feel the feelings, not just shovel things down. Does that make sense to everybody? Then it's important for you to start to realize, what is your perception in life? Are you putting yourself in the place of victim? Or are you putting yourself in a place of you are the leader of your health? You're taking the charge. You are the one saying, you know what? I am going to improve my health no matter what. Or are you putting yourself in the place of, the doctors don't listen to me. I can't find anybody that works. I'm just going to give up. Nothing worked before. Then I'm just not going to try it again. I'm just in so much pain. Those headaches never going to go away. This pain never going to stop. There's nothing I can do that makes a difference. And just starting to reflect, how do you feel when you even say those things? Because the majority of my clients, usually what they realize is when they say things like that to themselves, usually their energy becomes even heavier, become even more tired. They kind of like, you kind of end up getting to the point that you may even losing hope. Where when you say, you know what, that didn't work before, that's fine, but I'm going to continue trying because I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to heal. I deserve to improve myself. I deserve to feel good. No matter what, I will make things happen for myself. Can you guys feel how that's a completely different feeling? One versus the other. Then just take a minute there. When you start to identify what areas of your life, what circumstances you catch yourself being more, I'm going to make this happen, I'm taking responsibility for my life. And when are you catching yourself more in the victim feeling where you're like, you know what, sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. And I would like to share a story with you. Early in my life, when I was a teenager, my mom adopted my brother. I was about 14 years old when he arrived. He was adopted. We had no idea what was happening until about a year old. we found out that he didn't walk, he didn't sit, he didn't hold his head. Something was clearly wrong. The doctors overlook, don't worry about it, nothing's wrong. And it was not until he got close to 1 year old is when we found out he actually had cerebral palsy. And we went to the best hospital in the state of my country. I'm originally from Brazil. My mom searched every single doctor in town, went to the best doctor in town, and he said, you know what? His condition is now reversible. Then you guys just gonna have to live with. Then let's set him up for a wheelchair because he's gonna be on the wheelchair for the rest of his life. Then we're just gonna teach him how to use a wheelchair, and I'm gonna teach the family how to use the wheelchair, and that was it. And I remember my mom coming back home crying, like, this is not the reality that I'm willing to accept. And in that moment, she said, no, there must be more. There must be another way. And she went looking for a solution. She saw so many different professionals, talked to so many different people. She was really determined to make a difference. And she did. And when my brother was about 5 years old is when he took his first step. He was walking and he never needed a wheelchair. He actually never needed a walker or a crutch or none of the assistant device. He always been walking on his own. You can see when he's walking, he has difficulty walking, but he figured it out. Nobody told him that he was not capable, but he did. Today, my brother rides his bike without wheels, what still blows my mind as a physical therapist, how he can do that. He balances himself, go up and down ramps on the bike without the wheels. His balance is probably better than me on the bike. He take a bus and go to his university on his own. Then sometimes we hear things that doesn't feel good. We don't agree. In our heart, it doesn't feel right. But if that was you, I'm going to encourage you right now to challenge that belief. Because I'm so glad that my mom did. And because she did, my brother is what he is today. And because she did, it also inspired me that there is so much more available. Then that moment when I saw his walking, I knew that there was more than just what's being provided. I knew that we need to go beyond. We needed a mind-body approach, not just the body. Then one thing that I would like to bring when we talk about mindset is the placebo effect. Then who's here have heard about the placebo effect before? The placebo effect is actually being researched and approved. There's like no question about that anymore. And we know the benefits of the placebo effect. Unfortunately, the medicine takes that as something negative. In reality, placebo effect is actually the way the body heals. Placebo effect is a beneficial effect produced by a placebo drug or treatment, which cannot be attributed to the properties of the placebo itself. And it must therefore be due to the patient's belief in the treatment. Then think about it. If someone spends a lot of money creating a drug, creating a medication, and the medication has as much benefit as your mind, your skills, your healing, your self-healing, what does that tell you? Because it sounds to me that we are way more powerful than what we think. And we need to start to give credit to that. And on the other hand, if we think about it, there is something they call the nocebo effect. Then nocebo effect may be new for a lot of you, but the brain has the power both ways. You can be negative expectations of the patient regarding the treatment cause the treatment to have a more negative effect than it otherwise would have. And I see that in my office very, very clear. The patients that arrive in the office and say, you know what, we're going to do this. It's possible. I don't know how. I need your help, but we're going to make this work. They recover so much faster than the patients that come, I don't know, Anna. No, nothing worked before. This is too hard. I don't know. This is going to take a year. And this, I kind of know. It makes a big difference. And that is research proving that. It's not just me telling you. Your mind is a powerful tool and is also part of your self-healing abilities. Start to use that. That's free. You guys can start using that today. You can literally get a pill, empty pill, or a cup of water and say, you know what, right now I'm drinking the best medicine for my body. Or I'm drinking the best thing for my headache, or for my sleeping, or for my digestive problem. I don't know what problem you guys are dealing with, but whatever it is, you can actually start to practice that. It makes a big difference. And again, going back to the idea, it's not just repeating the affirmation or positive thinking, it goes way beyond that. You really need to feel that in your heart. There's sometimes when we say, I'm going to heal, it may feel very uncomfortable for some people. You may not believe that yet. That's okay. And maybe you change the wording and say, I'm working on healing. And then check in, how does that feel? And if you do have a chronic problem and you feel like there is nothing that's going to ever help, maybe you can tell yourself, I'm working towards that. Because that calms your nervous system versus fighting with your nervous system. Does that make sense, you guys? And remember, if you cannot visualize or feel yet, it's okay. There is still the awareness stage, right? There is something blocking you there. Either it's a mental block, it's an emotional block, it's all old habits, limiting belief, trauma experience, something's that holding you back. And the good news is there is another way. You can actually release some of those blocks. Then when we move it to the stage 3, that's the embodiment. Embodiment is really going into the skills that we already have. For example, when we talk about body intelligence, something that's like a no-brainer, everybody can relate to. When you're thirsty, your body tells you, and then you go and drink some water, right? Nobody questioned that. That is part of our body intelligence. Our body tells us when we're hungry, when we need sleep, when we need water. Our body tells us exactly what we need. The question is, are we listening? Have you paused lately to listen to your body? To listen, what does your body need? Because that's really what goes into the body awareness, the inner wisdom, the intuition. For some of you that say, oh, I don't have intuition. I don't know what that means. I never did that before. Have you ever felt like you want to do something that's going to be really good for you and then you did it and it was really good for you? I'm sure you got some experience back in the past. Or maybe it was something unexpected that you did it for someone else and you'd be like, oh, I really want to do this. This person's going to love it. And then you did it and the person loved it. Then those very subtle, I want to, my heart is telling me, or my gut is telling me, those are your intuition. And we all have that. We all born with that. Another piece of the embodiment is master your nervous system. Then this can be a whole class itself, because this is a huge component of healing. But just to keep simple, the nervous system is divided in the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And fight is pretty straightforward. You attack. You yell at, you get angry, you snap at the kids, you tell the husband to get away. Those are the fight experience. Or you're fighting with yourself. And remember, those can be with someone else or with yourself. Flight is pretty straightforward. You see something, uh-oh, I'm out of here. See ya, not interested. Don't want to deal with, don't have the capacity. Sorry, see you tomorrow. Can we not talk about that? Can we just like ignore what's happening? The elephant is in the room. Can we just pretend that's not there? Right? And those are symptoms of flight. When you think about freeze, you can think about the possum playing dead. That's a very typical example that you can kind of really relate to it. You like kind of the deer seeing the headlights, right? You're just like, I don't know what to do here. Sorry. Those are signs of freezing. Then, like you can see, the nervous system can relate to the symptoms, but can also relate to the whole body symptoms. And the fall is actually a relatively new term. The fight and flight is the most common one. Freeze came years ago, and the fall has been getting more popular lately. What's the one that it's the tiger's coming behind you, and you're going to try to convince the tiger and say, don't try to eat me. It's not a good idea. And it's really the idea of people pleasing. It's like you're trying to put all your needs to the side and please someone else, then you can feel comfortable. And that's also a sympathetic stress reaction. On the other side, we have rest, digest, and heal. How does that stress reaction shows up in your life? In which circumstances you catch yourself fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? And in which circumstances on your life have you been catching yourself lately practicing rest, digest, and heal? There are tons of tools that you can actually practice to stimulate the nervous system to rest, digest, and heal. They're starting to reflect on those, like, when does one thing happen for you? When does the other thing happen to you? How can you bring more of the rest, digest, and heal in your life? Does that make sense, everybody? We're good? Okay, then we are going to bring one of my patients. I'm going to call Jennifer.
When I met Anna at a Lupus group meeting, support group meeting in February of 2020, I didn't realize it, but I was in freeze mode, total freeze mode. I went into her office for our first session. I remember sitting there trying to rationalize to her that I wasn't feeling that bad. Things weren't that bad, but I was not living my life at the time. And I was afraid at that time. I had given up hope. I had tried so many things for so many years. I had been sick for 17 years. You name it, too many to name. Lupus, Sjogren's, fibromyalgia, migraines, high blood pressure, bizarre osteoporosis at 35, just a bunch of weird things. But basically, Anna taught me it was my body talking to me. And I had never looked at it that way. But I also was afraid to try anymore because I had been so disappointed. I had invested so much money in things that did not work. Try this supplement, try this program. Then by October of 2020, so that was 7 months of work with Anna, I was the strongest, fittest I had ever been in 17 years. I could do a 90-minute hardcore yoga class with everything. I still had everything. You know, many people experienced the pandemic as a horrible time. It was a rebirth for me. Literally, I was coming back into my life physically and mentally the strongest I had been. Then life throws you a curveball. And as some of you may know, some of you may not, I was diagnosed in September 2020 with stage 3 oral cancer. And I do believe, and I told Anna one time only, that the mental and physical strength I had going into 2 surgeries, chemo and radiation, that's what got me through that cancer. Thank you, Anna. Yes, I did the work. Another thing, and I'll say it proudly, I did the work. Anna taught me. But another thing is, with Anna, you're not in a codependent relationship, meaning you don't have to go every time something comes up to see her. Once she teaches you, you have the tools to start igniting your inner healer and doing the work on yourself by yourself. Okay, so that's another huge difference in working with Anna. So I just wanted to, provide a testimonial to working with Anna, and just start, in some way start. Take a chance on yourself. Thank you, Anna, thank you.
Thank you. Your story is just so inspiring. Jennifer asked to share the story, and I feel like it was such a nice add to the topic, because I feel a lot of times we doubt ourselves. Can we do it? Is that possible? And Jennifer is no different than any one of you. You all have the strength that she has. You all have the healing inside of you that she does. And that's what I love, all the stories of all my patients. It's like I get spoiled with my patients because I hear those kind of stories a lot. And it's possible. Then let's come back here. When we know the tools, when we know what to do, when we know how to identify how we feel, identify what your body needs, and you have the tools to really ignite your self-healing abilities. And you also learn how to listen to your body intelligence. And that's when you start shifting from, yeah, I know that, to actually being that. And for any of you, if you ever caught yourself saying, oh, yeah, I know how to do that already, but you actually not applying that to your life yet, then I'm sorry, you don't know yet. It's not wired in your brain. It's not automatic yet. Knowing in your head is not enough. We need to drop the knowing from the head to the heart and make that connection where we are working in synchronicity. The heart and the mind is working together versus separate. That's when we really make the biggest change. And then the stage 5 is the mastery, because life happened. And it's very important for us to be the master of your body and mind. And that's one of the reasons I love Jennifer's story, because that's how life is. You're like, okay, everything is amazing. And then something happened and you fall down. And the question that I always ask to my clients is, how fast do you get up? Because when you have the proper tools Even if you encounter a challenge, you can go back so much faster and so much easier than before. And that's when you really notice, oh my gosh, I'm mastering my skills. I'm mastering my body. I'm mastering my mind. Because I know what I need to do, when I need to do. And even if I usually call the oops, those moments that you do something, you're like, that wasn't such a good idea. Even when you have those moments, oops, made a mistake, that didn't work, whatever, no judgment. Okay, I'm right back. And life goes on. Then my question to you is, what does your body need in order to heal? When you close your eyes right now and you feel your body, you stop and listen. What does your body need in order to heal? There's some of you, you are on that discovery phase where you really need to sit down and create a vision, understand the why, connect it to your heart, create the goals for your intuition, not just from your mind. For some of you, oh, I got there already. I got the goals, I'm good, but I'm still bumping into my triggers. It's time to start to notice your mindset, start to notice what needs to shift for you to start to release what's stopping you from moving forward. And for some of you is, do you know what? I really need to start connecting with my body wisdom. I really need to manage my nervous system. I really need more tools that I can really ignite my self-healing abilities. I don't know how to do yet. And for some of you is, yes, I got all that. Now it's time to practice. I need just a safe environment where I can kind of get a reminder to just practice more often. And some of you, you are on that phase of like, oh, I got all of that. I've been practicing and I am mastering. Obstacles come. Oh, I got this. No problem. And sometimes we go around again. It's circular. It's not linear. Then just notice, where are you? And what if it's possible for you? Then sometimes when I say that to my clients, they come back and say, but Anna, I don't have time. Then if you feel like you're in that place of, I just don't have time, I'm going to encourage you to go back and start reflecting on it. The time is very relative sometimes. It's a matter of priorities. And then if your health right now is your priority, you will probably make time. It's possible. And then for other people, they say, well, but you know, do all those holistic things can be very expensive. I can't afford that. And then it kind of reminds me of Jennifer's story and so many other stories of patients of mine say how much time they lost it waiting for a solution or sitting with some solution that's not really working very well. Then how much money they actually spend on medication and weekly visits to the doctors. And when you look at holistic, it's a lot of times way cheaper because it's a long-term solution versus taking the medication for the rest of your life, for example. Then, you know, it's like we got to make choices in life. Then just something for you guys to start reflecting, because every single choice we make, it either is going to drive our health or is going to decline our health. Every single choice. They're just starting to bring some awareness for that. And that is probably the most common one that I hear. Well, nothing worked before. My case is very unique. Will it work for me? And I actually personally love that question because in reality, the way I work, the way I believe, when I think about self-healing, how cannot work for you? If you are listening to your own wisdom, not mine, not the doctor, not the psychologist, not the nutritionist, not anybody else. If you are listening to yourself, if you are able to tap into that wisdom that you have, and your body tell you exactly what you need to do, how will not work? And I think for me, that's the biggest difference of my work and everything else I see out there is, yes, I will teach you tools. Yes, I will teach you how to do it. Yes, I will hold your hand, support you through the process. But the most important part is you going to learn how to find those answers inside. Because I don't know what your body needs. You know what your body needs better than anybody else. My job is help you to find those answers. And that's really what I do. Then with all that saying, you have 3 paths of self-healing. There is a lot of things online. There's a lot of free resources. My Be Health Within a podcast is there. There are a lot of things that you can learn from that you can just, go and do yourself. That's totally fine. You learn a lot of information today. For some people, that's just not enough. They try that route. They'll be like, okay, I just need more. Then I have a Be Health Academy that is a group support. We also have a step-by-step wellness path. Then the 5 stages we talk about today, I have a step-by-step teaching you how to do every single one of those steps. And we meet twice a month. And we also have a group coaching on that time that we meet live. There's a place for you to ask questions. There's a place that we discuss every month. We have a different topic. Then you're always learning more about yourself. The academy component is a library. We have over 200 videos and articles that you can search for. I always tell my patient, if you have something that you want to work on, it is a migraine or like stomach pain, whatever it is, search in the library. You're probably going to find way more reliable information than if you search on Google. Then I have a lot of tools there for you to explore on your own needs, or you can also choose to go through the wellness path and follow that stages based on your needs in that moment. We have an amazing support group, no judgmental. We support each other. It's so loving. I absolutely love our group. It's a private community for that. And for some people, they wanted that option where they wanted the community. They wanted to be able to have a lot of resources. Then that's all available for you. And you also have the option of like, you know what? I wanted something very specific for my needs. I wanted something very customized. I wanted for you to really go deeper in something that's very unique about me. Then there is an option for you to do a private session as well with me, or you can do the academy plus a private session, or you can do the private session plus the podcast. Then you can play around with what your needs are, but there are choices there for you to move forward with your healing, and I hope you choose some of that. And for the new clients today, I have a gift. I'm offering a 30-minute session. I call the Self-Healing Jumpstart session. If you contact me on the next week, and then we can go ahead and schedule your session, then you can talk more about what your needs are and then discover if this approach is right for you. And then I can learn more about you and explain how this work would apply to your needs as well. Then if anybody is interested, please let me know. And you can also go on my website, www.behealthwithanna.com, and send me a message from there as well.